It's a 12-week onboarding program that every agent on joins our team, whether you're an experienced agent or a brand new agent, you have to complete. And it takes you from step one, joining your real estate board, with transferring your license to EXP,
getting your MLS.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the last step, which is writing your 6-month goal plan. And everything in there in between is there. During those 12 weeks, you never have to worry about what you should be working on. And then once a month, we have a boot camp that focuses on week 1 through 4, week 5 through 8, and then week 9 through 12.
Let's talk about that. So do you have an onboarding specialist that's helping these agents go through? So who's answering their questions as they're going through these modules? And like, I just don't get that. Are they reaching out to you guys? Welcome back to the Leverage Lounge, the podcast where we unpack how top entrepreneurs, agents, and business leaders use systems, people to scale, and smart leverage. Today, we're spotlighting a powerhouse real estate duo who are redefining leadership and legacy in one of the most competitive markets in the country, Detroit, Michigan. Joining me are LaShawn Peterson Jackson and Towanna Peterson Jackson, co-founders of Team Peterson Jackson, a mega producing group with hundreds of closings, a 5-time EXP Mega Icon Award streak, and a mission that's as bold as their systems are sharp. So whether you're leading a team now or you're building towards one, this episode is a masterclass in how to scale people without losing your soul. So let's get into it. Towanna and LaShawn, what up, though?
What up, though?
What up, though? You remembered.
Yeah, welcome to the show. I'm excited. So we got you guys here. I think the last time I saw you guys in person, you were speaking on the EXPCon Miami stage. You guys brought the house down. You shared your story and you did it so well. You had the presentation, the slides, we had some music. It was just really beautiful and well put together. Now, LaShawn, you spent over 2 decades in corporate IT before jumping into real estate. So I'd love to hear, what were some of the first systems or frameworks you applied when building your real estate team?
The first thing I had to do was to figure out how to route the emails properly so that nothing fell through the cracks. So that was the first system that I tackled, was organizing, when it was just the two of us, our email, and making sure that we had, auto responses and things of that nature in place.
So just making sure you're communicating with your clients, other agents on the other side of things.
We had to learn to tackle our CRM. Without a CRM, you really don't have a business if you don't have a database. And that was getting the database in order and getting some type of system to our client contacts, the frequency of our client contacts, and just organizing our clients into categories and just, taking care of that database.
A lot of agents say, we got to upload our database into our CRM, upload everybody that's in your phone into your CRM, but then they lose track of like who they've uploaded, why they uploaded them, who that person is. So there's something to not only just uploading it, but then also organizing it, stratifying your database. Did you have a systematic process in how you were doing that? Or was that just kind of a mess at the beginning?
It was a mess at the beginning because I wanted to have meaningful contacts in my database. I didn't want, people that I knew like never was going to buy a home, or just people that I didn't know why they were in my phone. So we went through each person, each contact one by one. It took a while and I even had some help, but we definitely went through everybody one by one to qualify and categorize them. So.
Now, I imagine because you have the project management background, were there any like Gantt charts or workflows that you drew out to put all this together? Or
it was a workflow because I had someone helping me, so we had to do it systematically. But she was amazing. She had a few months off work, and so we had to tap into her while she could help, and she was just amazing with it. And we had about 10,000 people at the time, so we was able to go through them all and get them all in categories. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because to have help, and then 2 heads are better than 1, as we know. So when you have that strong, creative thinker that's able to be on your team, Towanna, I'd love to hear from you, like from your perspective, what system or process has had the most impact on like your team's consistency and their performance?
That would definitely be the CRM.
Okay.
That nothing else. And we were lucky
Mhm.
that the young lady was off work for those 2 or 3 months to really give us a head start on it. Because at the time that she was off, that was around the time that we jumped in with EXP
Mhm.
and had KB Core. So this was like our first introduction to, oh, there are systems out here that handle, automation and business. So we were really excited about that. And she worked for the U of M
Yeah.
at the time. And so she just happens to be
Okay.
off for 2 months. And LaShawn and I make sure we keep great people around us at
Mhm.
all times. We have a really, really strong circle. The people within there,
Mhm.
everyone has something that they can bring. You
Mhm.
want to make sure you have a strong,
Right.
foundation
Right.
of friends. And she just happened to be there, happened to have a conversation, was like, oh, I can do that for y'all. It's take me about 2 months. I'm like, it's 10,000 people. She was like, oh, it shouldn't take long at all, and every day it was just hanging out with your friend in the office. And what she handed over to us was the ability to now for me to stay in contact with people and not see them at the store or out at a party and like, hey, Towanna, you remember me? I'm like, no, I don't. So
You're like,
you don't have to like rely on those things because it was always top of mind, from just sending happy birthdays and people calling back to us like, oh man, I'm thinking about buying my house and I'm glad you've been staying in contact with me with those market reports.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. She reached out to people. She got kids' names, birthdays, anniversaries. She put everything in there. So she was getting it.
Yeah.
So I
so
appreciate that.
how was that? How did that work? Was she calling them and saying, hey, we have you on our database, but we're just updating our records. Would love to know, like, what are the kids' names, the birthdays, and all that? Like, how was she doing that? Because
everything
that
can be
that is
found online.
there's an art and a science to this to make sure that people aren't like, wait a minute, what?
It took some calls, it took some texts, and then she was just doing her thing, her research. So
Yeah.
people
put a lot of their information online.
They
You
do.
know their kids'
Yeah,
names.
you're right about that.
We know their kids' names. It's all there. We freely give that information out.
Mhm.
And she was able to extract that information.
I
Thank
love
you,
that. So she did
Keisha.
some social crawling, right? What I like to call social crawling.
Yes.
It's easy to find out people's anniversaries, their birthdays, like you said, their kids' names and all the things, right? When
All
the
the
kids
things.
graduated from school, grandchild was born, all of the things. We post about the things that we want people to know. That's why we
Right.
posted it.
That's what
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's something I teach when I'm teaching agents about social media. That's what you should be on social media for. You should be looking at the things that people want to talk about and then talk about it with them, because that's why they posted it. If they didn't want to talk about it, they wouldn't have posted it.
I agree.
Now, you guys have built like a really high production team. And obviously we know that does not happen by accident. So what are the key roles that you focused on early in order to scale output without burning out your best agents?
So the first thing we had to do, we had to figure out the onboarding, the agent education piece. So we had to make that as efficient and as smooth as possible. So we created a 12-week onboarding. Real estate is like infinite, the knowledge that every day I learn something new, right? Every day. So people was like, oh my God, a 12-week onboarding, that's a lot. I'm like, it's nothing, because the knowledge in this business is infinite. Like, you can really get a PhD in real estate. So 12 weeks is like trade school at best.
Yeah.
So we do have a 12
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, it's a 12-week onboarding program that every agent on our team that joins our team, whether you're an experienced agent or a brand new agent, you have to complete. And it take you from step 1, joining your real estate board, with transferring your license to EXP,
Getting your MLS.
yes,
Yeah.
to the last step, which is writing your 6-month goal plan. And everything in there in between is there. So we had you during those 12 weeks, you never have to worry about what you should be working on. And then once a month, we have a boot camp that focuses on, week 1 through 4, week 5 through 8, and then week 9 through 12. So and we
interested
run
in
that
that.
every month.
So do you have an onboarding specialist that's helping these agents go through? So who's answering their questions as they're going through these modules? And like, I just don't get that. Are they reaching out to you guys, or do you have
So
other leaders and positions on your team?
every Wednesday, we have something that we call art class, and it's agent resource table, where I'm either there, the admin staff's there. We have a couple of top producers, be that the VP of sales or one of our directors of agent growth, and they're in the office, and we have 2 hours set aside for any agent to drop in and ask any question. We don't have
Okay.
there's no agenda. We start at the beginning and say, who has a question? We write the question down and we work through whatever problem you have.
I
And
love that. So it's like office hours.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And then every new agent is assigned a mentor. So their mentor is usually an agent that's been in production well over a year, that has met production standards, and we make them get certified now through EXP. So they get assigned a mentor just like you would if you were a solo agent. So they have their own mentor to help them work through it as well.
Okay. So you have mentors, you have production leaders that are on your team that are stepping up. You're kind of encouraging them to step up. What incentive do they see out of that? How are you leveraging that role, that kind of aspirational aspect of your team, where people that are in your team or in your organization want to step up and lead?
Well, they get paid mentorship. You know what I'm saying? So they get paid as mentors.
They get actually named as their mentor, and they get a mentor split when the agents are actually your performing.
Yes, correct.
We built that into our team. A lot of agents want to know about what you and I do, Michael, or me and LaShawn do about getting on stages. So they're preparing themselves to be leaders in that aspect, being able to train, being able to present. And what I have noticed is that if you can teach a subject, you become proficient in the subject. So teaching sales, you're a wonderful salesperson.
I say it all the time. I said, if you don't know a thing until you can teach a thing.
There you go.
Once you can teach that thing, now we know you know it.
You know it.
And then lastly, a lot of our top producers, they have a stake in the team because they are attractors. So they have a downline, and they bring their downlines to the team. So they have a stake that the team is successful in that manner because, they're growing their downline, they're growing their organization outside of inside of the team.
Yeah.
So they definitely have a stake there in its success.
So as we're talking about this, as people are watching this or listening to this on, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I want them to get a good breath of what we're talking about. How large is your team? And then I want to talk about some of the roles that you've hired into that team. So how many agents are we talking about on your team?
So right now we have 70 agents in Detroit, and I know it seems like a lot, but I always consider like they're in different stages in their career.
Okay.
And then we have 10 in Houston right now.
That's right, because y'all expanded. We gonna get into that. Y'all expanding. Y'all done grown up. You moved into a whole new market. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't even know how to expand in their own office, let alone into a whole completely different state. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. All right. So you have about 70 agents on your team, and then tell us the makeup of your organization. What does that look like?
So it's me and LaShawn as team leads and founders, and then we hired an operations manager to help us with operations. We did that this year to try to get our hand around because we were going into hyper expansion this year.
So you have the operations managers that you've hired, but what did you hire them to do? What is their role? Like, as you're telling me these spaces, what are their roles?
So our operations manager role was to find the bottlenecks in our system to, of course, increase productivity. And we wanted her to really focus on artificial intelligence and also automation to, of course, move along our transactions smoother, make the agents happier. The admins provide administrative services to the agents. They take the entire team, they split it in half. I have one admin works half the team, the other admin works the other half the team. And then they handle things for you as an agent, making sure your communication is going through to title, making sure that you're, on board. Hey, Michael, it's getting close to closing day. What we doing here? Just keeping track of the deals, making sure they input in the system, making sure we can follow along with you. Course,
so the admin is also checking the CRM, making sure that the agent's putting the notes in there and making sure that everybody knows where we are.
No. So we don't have anyone specifically checking the CRM but LaShawn. So she's our ISA, if you would just say.
Okay.
But we're developing that out. So for us, we like to work in the position, and then that gives us something to be able to actually hand off versus having conceptual.
Definitely the next hire.
Definitely.
Okay.
So gotta get that inside sales covered. So then we have our transaction coordinators who are virtual. We have one who specifically focuses on, getting the Houston up and running. And then the other two are full-time and they're in the Philippines. And then we have a marketing coordinator that's full-time, and he handles, getting the flyers out. He does print, he does video for us. So you see all those reels out, he'll do some of those for the team and me. So that's what our marketing person takes care of. As far as on the agent side to help with production, we do have 2 vice president of sales, our son Andre, and then Coach Chris Moore. And we have a director of agent development, and that's Derek McKinney. He handles
that's the dad.
That's dad, pretty much. When it's time for script, you're going up against with Derek. He's making sure the agent is developed to be out and have these conversations. He really pushes value proposition and developing that with the agent, just to making you into a professional person, being able to present and communicate.
How often is he available to them? Is he always in the office, or does he have like certain days where like, hey, meeting time with dad is every Tuesday at 2 or whatever it is? Like, how does that work?
He does script Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at like 9 every morning. He holds that class, and people like log on to practice script practice with him, going back and forth. And he realizes that how confident the agents are becoming from that. It's amazing. Just that one change that he's been able to bring out in the agent. So.
And is anybody able to join that? If an agent is listening to this,
he would love that. He would love some company.
Yeah, he loves it. He has a link, and I'll drop that link for you.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Okay, great. Yeah, they have people jump in. We have our agents from Houston, Dallas. We have my daughters in Indiana. So they'll jump in and listen to the script and join script practice. And sometimes I'll even jump in, and I'm always the angry woman that you woke up. I'm always angry. So I can't never give it to them easy when I'm on script. So.
Right. I love that. So as leaders, how do you balance being mentors versus managers? Because you guys have a really close-knit team. Like, I see the celebrations that you guys do. You got a whole closing day song that you sing, and you bring in stuff. I'll be watching y'all, right? See, my idea of mentoring is being able to have the level of communication that's open, where I can say to an agent, do I have permission to tell you what you need to hear and not necessarily what you want to hear? Right. Yeah. And so you have the mentor that's helping them and kind of building them up, but then you also have this manager where you kind of have to make sure that, hey, you're my kid, but I'll still whoop you. Right. Like, how do you balance that?
Well, we're blessed because we're moms, so we were born with that. We already born with it. You just have to be like momagers, I believe is what they call. So we're able to have that mentor. We're able to also have that management with the agents, and I think they kind of expect that.
And I don't have on the glasses now, but they know if I
drop the glasses and look down that they're like,
that means come see me in my office. You don't want to see that. They'd be like, she looking at you over those glasses.
I would say,
they start looking over their shoulder like, she looking at me.
It depends on every agent. Every agent, you're going to have to treat them differently, manage and mentor differently.
Because every agent has their love language. So when I was growing up, my mom always used to say, and I used to be like, oh, you don't treat me like you do Shannon, which is my sister, or you don't treat me like you do Leonard. And she was like, all of y'all are different and you all have different needs. And I didn't understand that until I had my own children. And then I was like, they are different. They do have different needs. And it's the same thing with the agents on the team. Everyone is different and everyone has different needs. So I don't treat them all the same because they don't have the same needs. So I try to get to know them and then try to, hone in to what it is they need from me. So
I think that says so much about y'all as leaders and your leadership, just because you're recognizing each agent as an individual. And it's so easy for team leaders. I think it's easier for team leaders of any organization, whether we're talking about real estate or we're talking corporate, right? It's very easy to kind of just become a number,
Right.
to the team leader. And so the team leader talks to the group, to the team, as opposed to really kind of talking to the individual agent, because it takes a lot more time, but it also takes a different level of intentionality. And the fact that you guys have been willing to do that, I think that says a lot about how you've been leading, but also why you've been growing to the level that you have. I mean, 70 agents and then moving into another city and state, and you already have 10 agents in that state. That's something. Where do you spend most of your energy when you're developing new agents?
I spend most of my energy and mindset with them, switching that mindset, going from you being an employee to being a business owner. And once they have that clicked, once we can get past that, I have a good product to work with. But we got to get past that mindset that I can't do this. And even when the ones that that you look back and figure out like, man, why did I lose that person? Why did I get it? It starts with their mindset wasn't where it needed to be.
Right.
And it's hard. It's hard to switch the way you've been programmed for your entire life.
That's right.
From being, you're no longer an employee. You're the boss. Come on, you got to boss up.
Right.
So that's where I spend with new agents. That's where I spend a majority of the time. With the more seasoned agents that come to me and they are looking for that, like, I need a breakthrough. We spend it on setting up your day, your time block, your structure. We got to structure your business to make and get your systems built. And that's where we spend that time. And of course, in our leadership, the ones who, we got the systems built. Because again, LaShawn said we got different stages of the agents. The systems have been built. With our leaders, we spend more time on working on the internal part, the part that a lot of people overlook, because now you are a business owner. You have made it. What about the inside? What about growing as a person? So we spend some time looking into those
emotional intelligence, how you see yourself, your internal value. We know how to give our value proposition to our clients, but what about our value to ourselves? How do we feel about who we are? So we work on Towanna's really good at that. Like, I walk into that class sometimes because I'm running around all the time. And I walk in
to be in the class.
I walk in and they're in there crying, and I'm like,
Crying.
And they're always like, boss, come join us. She's like, no.
It's grown men in there. I'm like, okay.
But we want,
like, no, I'm good. I'll be down the hall.
Yeah. looking in that mirror and saying, really looking at the person you are. And that has just grown us tremendously.
Yeah, as people.
Yeah. One of the things that I found with newer agents is, like you said, mindset. You're absolutely right. Helping them to understand that the difference between that employee mindset and that CEO mindset. I make agents repeat after me. I am not a real estate agent. I am a real estate business owner. Right. And I make them say that back to me. And like you said, it's just a small shift. It's a little click to help them to understand the difference. And I think that's a very important point. Now, LaShawn, you're also on the State Agent Advisory Council for eXp Realty in Michigan. How has that role impacted your vision and your leadership for agents that you lead and for the agents that you're looking to attract to your team or your organization?
The first thing I learned is that even though, I'm on there with a lot of different team leaders from a lot of different markets across the area, and we are more alike than we are different. Like, the difference between any of us is very slim. The problems that we encounter, the things that we want as a team, the things that we want as a company, really align. Like, 9 times out of 10, we are always in alignment and in agreement. So that, one band, one sound, and that really makes me feel good that I'm on the right track with everything, just meeting with these other leaders. Also, it gives me insight into the company and how the company processes information that comes up through the ACC, how, which we get from the agents. Just say, like, people having issues with sky slope. We'll just use that as an example, and how we can
Okay.
take it to the company and say, hey, they don't like the way sky slope splits documents. And then just to see sky slope put that update in, okay, documents are splitting better. It can be something so small, or it can be something so large as we all hate Slack. No one of that. And then just seeing how the company is responding to that by putting in all this extra training. Do you see how much Slack training we had? It was like every hour on the hour for at least 2 months. You know, that was from the ACC. So even down to the regional rallies, having better, you know, bigger, better regional rallies, more planned out, things like that. So next year, you're going to see a difference in the way the regional rallies are handled. So stuff come up through the AAC.
Agent Advisory Council. Let's talk about market dynamics. You know, geography obviously plays a little large part in that, but you guys own your market. You mentioned that you have a very robust network. You leverage the people that you know, the relationships that you have in order to make things move. And Detroit is an incredibly dynamic market. So like what pricing or marketing or buyer seller education strategies have helped you guys stand out?
For me and Towanna, personally, things are changing for us because a lot of those people that we educated into becoming homeowners like early in our career, they're wanting their forever homes now, right? So all of like, I don't sell actively. Towanna still does because she loves working with these buyers because their stories are so special. They're going into their forever homes. Now, it used to be like in Detroit, you buy a house, you die there. You know what I'm saying? You remodel it 100 times. You might even add on to it, but you did not buy another one. And now families are not, you know, they move into that starter home and then they look to buy that next home and then they look to buy there forever. So just say when we first started, our average sales price was like maybe $80,000 a year because we were in the starter home market. But now we are selling those same people their $500,000, $600,000 home. And that is just like amazing to us. It's beautiful, you know, just to see the evolution.
Yeah.
So why has that changed? Because that's a big difference. That's like a cultural shift.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that just with the people that you guys have helped? Like, is that true for your clientele? Or are you seeing that kind of for the Detroit buyer or the Detroit homeowner overall? Is that what you guys are seeing in your market?
Overall. I'm seeing it overall. I'm seeing a lot of my fellow agent friends that started in the business around the same time we did. Their clients are doing the same thing. So, you know, like I said before, you know, you had the money to move up. You just didn't do it. You did other things like put a dorm on your house or a dormer on.
Yeah.
You just, you know, bought some gold furniture or something.
But why has that changed? Because that's a cultural shift. I mean, that's huge.
You know, one thing that I think that stood out is the fact that we did all of the homeowner education courses in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we went out into the public and we still do as a team. So now instead of just 2 people doing it, we got 80 people that are out there educating the community and letting them know that you can move up and teaching them about equity and how to tap into that equity to be able to make these larger purchases and next moves. And we have had the conversation with them that, you know, it is kind of cheap to live in Detroit. So I'll buy my one house here. And they're using extra money instead of, like LaShawn said, putting dormers and things on. They're going to buy additional homes, fixing them up, selling them, getting that equity, getting ready to put it in their pocket to move into their forever home or their second level home. So now most of our clients are coming back and going over into the second, third, you know, house or whatever they want to do. We've been selling, 9 years now. So in that 9-year frame, you do see everything that you read in the books about your income will increase. And you will want better things. I mean, it just happens that way.
You know, they want better school.
Yeah.
Your children, they want better parks. They want better services. So, you know,
It's what they
Yeah,
perceive.
they're outgrowing those homes.
Yeah, so they want bigger.
they want modern homes. You know, Detroit has a lot of beautiful homes, but they're 100 years old or better. You know,
Right,
so some
right.
people want, you know, newer construction. They want the modern conveniences. You know, they want the walk-in closets. They want the 4 bathrooms, full size, you know, so main floor laundry or
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even myself,
So
you get to a certain point, you're like, I don't want to share a bathroom with anyone. Why, if I go to work every day, I got to share a bathroom with somebody? I shouldn't have.
right,
Or haul those
right.
baskets down to the basement. Woo.
Why would we do that? So,
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, with those older homes, they were built as like, 3-bedroom, 1 baths, right? So
that's
everybody's
it.
in there sharing 1 bathroom. Like that's not a thing anymore. We don't,
And the
we're
closets
not
are that big.
aspiring to do that.
Yeah, and we have a lot of clothes now. I think as a nation, as a community, thanks
Yes.
to Temu and Shane,
Yes.
everyone needs closets.
Fashion Nova.
So,
But the closets
Yeah.
are like super duper small. They're linen closet size. So that's just not gonna work for, you know.
and especially if
Yeah.
you've
No.
been that person that you've done everything your parents told you to do.
Mhm.
I went to school. I went to college. I got a good job.
Got the job.
I'm making what
Yeah.
my mom said. Why do I still have to live in a 1,000 square foot house here when we have access to 2,500 square feet or 2,000?
Let's go.
Or even 3 or 4.
Or 3 or 4 for your family. You don't have to live like you used to.
Yeah.
So
You don't have to live like
Well-
your grandparents.
true.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So there's a generational shift as well.
Yes,
A generational
yes.
mindset shift that has changed.
Definitely.
For my listeners, I want you guys to hear this. For those of you guys who are locked in, they put in the work early, knowing that if I plant these seeds now, I'm going to reap a harvest later. And I can't say exactly when that is, but as you see in their time frame, it's somewhere between that 7 to 10 year, turn where those people that bought and went through their home buying courses early are now being the ones that are not just home buying, but they're also home selling, right? And so
Right.
now they're, as a team, they're even doubly productive, right?
Yes.
We're doubly, right? They're able to double production off of the people that they poured into
Yeah.
early. So for those of you guys who are still wondering like, oh, should I do home buyer seminars? Do those still work and all this stuff? There's a lot more information that's out there. I think people, and I can even ask you guys, do you think home buying seminars still work? But I want to get to this point, which is it's so important as agents, again, to take out that employee mindset. The employee mindset is if I show up and I continue to show up, I'm going to get paid. You're not just clocking in and clocking out. You're actually building systems. You're building processes. You're
Yeah.
building a business, knowing that I'm investing now to reap a harvest later.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you guys have done that exceptionally well. But let me ask you that, on that point, do home buying seminars still work where we're educating buyers? I mean, there's ChatGPT, there's YouTube, there's everything that's out there. Are you guys still doing that?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely they work. There's nothing, first of all, you got to make them fun. Nobody wants to come in and talk to you for 6 hours.
That
So
part.
we definitely make them fun. Like in the middle, they know we're going to have a basket of giveaways. So you're going to get some fun stuff. So maybe we make it brunch style, right? We love a good brunch. So we make
Yeah.
it brunch style and we have a good time. Hear the testimonials. You get the information. You get to ask questions, and you can trust the information that you're given. Are you really going to sit there and read ChatGPT word for word on how to buy a home? No. Maybe.
You might.
I mean,
Probably
are you going to really absorb it though?
Well, to me,
Yeah.
we are community leaders.
Yeah.
And to get into the community is providing that service of a home buying seminar. We're supposed to educate the community on
Mhm.
buying a home. No one
Mhm.
said you couldn't do a home selling seminar either. We can get out there and educate
Mhm.
people. We have had companies ask us to come in and talk to them and talk to
Really?
their people about,
Yeah.
hey, Towanna,
Mhm.
we have a lot of seniors who
Mhm.
have homes and we need someone to come in here and talk to them about
Right.
how to sell their house. So there are multiple ways to get into the community. The thing is get into the community. We forget about that portion of what we're doing and selling home. And like LaShawn explained, I sell houses now because I love to hear the story. I love to watch a family open up the door. The last one, a single guy, he was a single guy, and this was the first time he was able to buy anything and live on his own. So, those things, that's what I'm in it for, to help on a different scale. So getting into the community and get involved is just at the core of what our mission is in real estate. So
The human element is still very important.
it's
Very
much so
important. Very important.
Yeah. Buying a
Yeah.
home is very emotional. Moving is emotional. If not even buying, we can talk leasing. Getting up, packing your things, and going into a new area is an emotional experience. It may be joyous, it may not be joyous, but you're going to have some type of emotion with moving. And your agent should be able to be there and help you, guide you through that.
Mm-hmm. We got a
Yeah,
crazy referral today just to tell you how much the human touch and on-site realtors are needed. The agent, he is out of state, but he attempted to help his buyer buy a home here in the Metro Detroit area through the listing agent. And it was just the worst decision ever. It was so much on the inspection report that he didn't understand, or the buyers didn't understand because they're not from here. Like, why did they have to dry lock the basement? Like, what is
What
that?
does that mean?
Like, why is the porch unlevel? Like, things like that only a
Yeah.
local real estate agent would know,
Yeah.
why the basement had to get waterproofed, So they called and they was like, waving a white flag, like, help.
Yeah. I know I told you I didn't need you, but I'm back.
I'm back.
I'm
So,
like, please, baby, please help me.
Help me.
yeah,
Right.
this inspection report, I don't understand a thing.
So there's some challenges that are unique to Detroit too.
Yes.
Right. From an inventory, affordability standpoint, you're thriving. I know a lot of things have changed over time, but talk a little bit about some of the unique challenges to Detroit, selling in Detroit. What's different than maybe another city? Maybe you're seeing it already in Houston. What are some of the differences that you're seeing?
Detroit, we have inventory problems still. We still have low inventory for the amount of buyers, for the type of homes that the buyers want to buy. So there is a problem there.
Is that because a lot of the homes that are in inventory are still like these older homes, like you mentioned, like
They haven't been
100 years old, and people are like,
older. Yeah, they're just not, they haven't been updated. One thing that is unique, that I feel is unique about the Metro Detroit area, is our sewer system.
Mm-hmm.
And I was explaining that to a mortgage officer I spoke to today, that with me, and when clients choose us, I always push for them to have a sewer scope inspection when we're purchasing a home. The lines are cracking. They're 100 years old. Unless the municipality has come in and filled them, or unless that homeowner has dug that line up, you may have a problem, because they're only designed to be there for 100 years. We're at that mark, so that's something here locally. Another thing is this Michigan. 5 Great Lakes. Guess what's under the land everywhere in Michigan? Water. Water is everywhere. We have water tables, so you have to inspect that basement. And what do we have in Michigan? Basements. Why? Tornadoes. We do have those sometimes here. So do you want a basement, or do you need a basement? Is there a storm shelter or something there on the land?
The Four Seasons.
well,
And
you're talking to somebody who lives in Florida. So I know a thing or two about a water table.
Yeah.
Right. And water, you dig further than about 6 feet deep in Florida, you are hitting water.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of Florida, there are no basements.
Right.
Now, there are still some areas that have basements. So there's some unique factors there. If somebody truly wants a basement, I come from Georgia, I'm born and raised in Georgia. So we have basement, there's basements almost in every house, right? It feels like,
Right.
But I got down here and I'm like, people, you don't have basements?
We have some issues based on the older homes here, but we also have some good ones that have been built.
The low ceilings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have some good ones up here.
Oh, yeah.
We are number 1 for sales in the city of Detroit, but we sell a lot outside of the city as well.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay. Talk your talk. That's what we want to hear.
It was kind of hard holding on to it this year because we started expanding out to the suburbs. But
but Detroit's
we rallied back.
Okay.
And then
Listen,
it's
we
one thing
support.
to say, like, I'm number one in Detroit, and you say that for a few years, and you're like, I'm not going to chase it anymore. And people are like, I'm beating you this year. And you're like, shit.
That competitive spirit rises back up. You're like, hey, now I got to show you what I do.
We did lose the title like in March for a few weeks.
We did.
I was like, whoa.
And we were trying to walk around the office like, we don't care. Like, no, we don't care. We wanted we wanted to move. And then everybody like, man, I just went out and talked. I called my investor. I'm like, why? So
you guys were labeled number one for how long? How many years in a row?
Man,
since we've been a team.
Since 2022, 23.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah,
2-3 years straight, number one producing team in the Metro Detroit area.
No, city of Detroit.
City of Detroit.
In the city limits.
City limits. Yeah.
So here's the thing. It's clear that you guys are building more than just a team.
Yeah.
You're building something that lifts others.
Yeah.
So what legacy would you say that you're creating with Team Peterson Jackson?
The legacy that we want to create, of course, is generational wealth. It's something that is very near and dear to our mission. And we want that for our agents and we want that for our clients as well. We want the agents who lead Team Peterson Jackson to be leaders.
Yeah,
I want them to be leaders in their community, leaders in the business that they continue on to do, or if they decide to even leave the industry and go into another industry, I want them to be leaders. I want them to make a difference in the world.
I want them to be impactful because I give them everything that we wish we had when we came into the industry. And even when we were, solid agents, like we really didn't have a place where we could just be us. Like we could be our true authentic selves. And that's one thing that's different about us. Yeah. I let the agents, I encourage them to be authentic to who they are. I think that when you can walk in authenticity, you are your best self. So, and that is absolutely something that we found to be true. So I want them to remember LaShawn always encouraged me to be me. So
yeah.
That's so good. And you guys have, you have community give back programs, financial empowerment for first time buyer education. That's the kind of culture shaping that's needed. This is about more than just real estate. This is about more than just sales and leads. These leads are people. These sales are stories. This is transformation at work. So LaShawn and Towanna, you guys mentioned that you have 1,000 leads per week coming in to feed a team of 70 to 80 agents. Now, I know that the listeners of this show are like, how are they doing that? Where are these leads coming from? And you've built these systems over time to make that happen. So let's talk about what some of these lead generation platforms, what have you built in order to create that kind of lead flow?
Our CRM, getting that, of course, optimized. We were able to add in Lopo, who does the retargeting to the CRM.
Yeah, the retargeting.
Then we're a Zillow Flex team. So because we are a mega team, we get a large share of Zillow Flex. I have a span with realtor.com. We get leads from there. Homes.com. Now, some of these are paid, some are not.
They come from our listings. Yeah.
Yeah. Homes isn't. I'm on Bing. I know a lot of people don't believe in Bing, but hey, it still comes on some of these phones as your search engine. So if I advertise on Bing, you'll be able to find us there as well. Local service ads through Google. So sometimes if I'm low on leads, I will turn those on. I haven't had them on probably in 9 months. I still do Google ads, but not on that high of a span there. Social media, making sure we put our message out. I probably run maybe $1 on some of our ads. If I feel I'm cute, I'll put $1 on it. Let it go out a little bit, but it'll bring in some leads as well. And like I said, if we get like super slow, I have sent out blogs before and have been able to get clients clicking on blogs and coming into our stratosphere. So I try to build you got to have a couple of different pots of things coming.
Yeah.
even apartments.com, not even exactly sure what I was doing in the middle of the night one night to get on there, but I'm there. Rent.com, we've been there. So we just try to keep our name out there very early in getting the business. I knew LaShawn and I were going to be a team, but in the beginning it was just Team Peterson and Jackson. It was always the team. But every ad, every email, every website, I made sure to put in Team Peterson Jackson. That's
Right.
branding your business. The leads kind of naturally follow from there.
If you're running as Team Peterson Jackson, are you guys the face of the team? So are people expecting to work with you? Or do they expect to work with other agents on your team? In my market, we have a lot of agents, especially out of my office. We have a lot of agents who are YouTube agents, right? I call them YouTube stars. And so they're running these YouTube channels, and then people see, and they're like, I've been watching you for 2 years, right? And then sometimes if they don't set it up correctly, when they say, okay, well, one of my agents is going to be helping you out, they're like, oh man, like I was calling you for you to help me out. So do you get any of that? Or how are you guys? How are you positioned?
If it's a lead that only wants to work with me or only wants to work with LaShawn, then we do allow that to happen. But remember, not LaShawn. I don't even know how much money you got to be spending to get LaShawn to be an agent these days. But with me, it depends on the family and the story. My last client, like she wanted to work with me because she said, well, Towanna, I researched you. And I said, well, what did you find about me, girl? You know, so we had this whole conversation. I wanted to work with her. Yeah. You know, she came saying she wanted to work with me, but I fell in love with her family and her story. So I wanted to work with her. So I was able to choose her that way. Yeah, they come in and it could be either me or LaShawn or someone on the team. If I hand off a lead to someone on my team, we know that person and we know it's going to be a love connection. LaShawn is very, very good in that. From having that that initial conversation, she can tell which agent is going to work with you. Like, and she has that. You like, oh my God, I think you're going to love Shanice. And she'll tell like 3, attributes that Shanice has that makes it a good match with that client to the point that the client is excited about eventually meeting Shanice because LaShawn told me that, LaShawn told me you're an AKA. LaShawn told me you're an engineer. LaShawn told me how smart you are and how caring you are. And so it's not really a cold connection at that point. It's warmer. So we make sure
it's not just somebody from the team. You're actually edifying that person before the connection even happens.
Yes. And we do that often. And to the point that the client will even come back because they know that LaShawn cares about Shanice, and they'll call like, hey, LaShawn, you were right about everything except that she doesn't like taking calls at 10 o'clock. Or, you said she was a sweet person. I called her at 6 a.m. She was a little upset. Well, baby, it was 6 o'clock, but they have that openness with her that they will call back and then,
That's
tell
good.
us. Yeah.
That's good.
You got to hand it off right, baby. You got to hand it off right.
You got to do it. You got to do it the right way.
I say I'm a master at doing a warm handoff of the clients. That's what I do.
You're air traffic control.
That's right.
You're making sure that it's going the right way every time. Right?
And I'm a referral agent like you. That's how I tell them. That's how I make my money. I'm a referral agent.
Yeah, she hands off some good ones. She hands off really the ones you want. They ready to go, hot and readies.
We always have a deal closing somewhere in the world.
Yes,
always. Somebody's always closing. And I tell you what, if you got somebody for Florida, you let your boy know. Okay,
always, Orlando,
Michael from Disney.
Come on, Disney Mike. All right, that was perfect. I'm ready for our lightning round.
Okay.
Of rapid fire questions. Okay. This is going to be fun. It's punchy. It's personal. And this is something I'm going to allow, you guys can choose who wants to answer one, or if you both want to answer, however you want to do it, I'll let you guys just flow with it. You ready?
Yeah.
First question I have for you. Favorite business book or podcast other than the Leverage Lounge podcast?
The Diary of a CEO. Definitely.
Some books I can't listen to the audible version. So that's what I like about the book. But he gives a lot of great tips about meeting billionaires, meeting leaders, and he gives what they hold near and dear to their heart and how they have built their organization. So it helps a lot for me.
And I love Ninja
Okay.
Selling. I read it at least once a year.
Ninja selling. Oh, that's a good one.
Mm.
Hey, what's the best advice for leading a team of strong personalities? Because I know you got some in the office. I've seen some of the things that you guys do.
What's your best advice?
Leading a team with strong personalities, and we do have strong personalities. You actually have to get to know them and make everyone feel special because they are, so I spend time, like, especially with my senior agents, I talk to each one of them almost every single day, one-on-one. I catch up with them. I know everything that's going on in their lives. I know that, so I know their pain points. I know what makes them happy. I know what makes them sad. So we communicate every single day, like via telephone mostly, or, we see each other in the office and we spend, 2 or 3 minutes, maybe up to 30 minutes, just, kicking it with each other. So just listening, getting to know them and being there for them. So, and having a mutual respect for each other.
And that's with 80 people, guys. So, imagine me and LaShawn sometimes we have to split it. And they know that if I call, they know LaShawn's right there, so they'll get a chance to
Yeah. No pitting you guys against each other. She said nope.
Nope, none
We're
of
not doing
that.
that.
Never. We're usually very close to each other. And I've never had an agent try to do that.
No.
Never. They're not like that.
No.
What I love about our team is that it is a lot like family. And so for those who have been in large families, people will talk about you to your face. So that's big on Team Peterson Jackson. And that's one thing that agents will come to that they don't get.
They're like, here come Martha. She ain't sold nothing in 2 months.
You ain't sold. Here she go. You're eating up the pizza and haven't sold anything. And so Martha's like, oh my gosh, y'all just said that out loud. Yes, girl, grab your pizza and sit down. Because we got to move on to the next subject.
Martha hasn't been in script practice all week.
Listen, it's important to help them develop tough skin. That's an important part of sales. I mean,
it is, because if you just be around these people in front of you saying you don't have any sales, a client telling you shut up and hanging up on you is nothing. Did you hear what my team who loves me said this morning?
Exactly.
So, but we have that, and it's never any malice behind it. It's always just jokes and things with it.
And how can we help you be better?
No, that's good. That's good. All right, we still on the lightning round, so we gon' come on.
Let's go.
All right, I got 2 more questions for you. So, what is one thing that agents should stop doing immediately?
Stop doing immediately.
They should stop posting on social media for other agents.
Ooh.
Like, where is the client education? Everybody is so fancy and so much razzle dazzle. Like, what is your future or potential client getting out of this? You post, they post for each other. They don't post for the clients. And I don't understand that. When you post, offer accepted, like, what does that even mean?
To me, as a client of yours.
Like, what does that mean? Inspection day, what does that even mean? What does closing day, like, even that, what does that mean? Like, I post for other agents. That's what I do. But when I was selling real estate to clients, I talked directly to the clients. And that's why I had so many. These agents do not post for the clients. They post for each other.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right. So you've changed over the years, and your mentality has changed. Your business has changed. You guys have leveled up. So last question I have for you here is, what does freedom mean to you today?
Freedom is everything. Like, that's why I work so hard for the freedom. Like, no one knows where Towanna and I are going to be any given day. The only day that they know that they can count on is that we're going to be in the office Wednesdays and Thursday, because those are the days that we are committed to. But other than that, between Friday and Tuesday, we can be in Mexico. We can be...
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, baby?
We can be in Hawaii. We can be anywhere. Yeah. And we do. So, and still work and bother them and talk to them and, still have the same amount of communication and still meet all our obligations. But we can do it from anywhere in the world at any given time. So I love that.
And for me, being able to be there for my family will be the biggest freedom that I've experienced with real estate. When my parents need me, I could go to them. I'm not going to say I'm dropping everything, but I can adjust my schedule to go see what my father wants. And it could be in the middle of the day, morning, evening, or night.
We can fly in from Grandparents' Day, to show up for and surprise our granddaughter.
Grandkids.
I mean, it's just, we don't have to ask for permission to live our lives.
That's the freedom of it, being able to make those decisions freely.
I love that. Yeah, time freedom. Time freedom is one of the most important things.
Yes.
And so at the Leverage Lounge, we believe that 95% of what we do can be either automated, delegated, or even eliminated. But that last 5%, that's where you make the biggest difference. So I'll ask each of you before we close, what's the 5% that you refuse to give up because it creates the most leverage, legacy, or even love in your business?
I will not give up our team mastermind, planning it, writing the classes for it. I don't have to teach the class, but I'm definitely going to be the one that writes it. So I will never give that up.
And mine is also along the lines of the training portion of it. There's this class that I do. It's called the 911 Producer Meeting, and that's the leadership one I was talking about with you. I won't give that one up. And I've had a lot of classes that I've been fortunate enough to teach over the last 9 years, but this one to me feels just a little bit more like legacy work and really pouring into those top producers of tomorrow. So I won't give that portion up, that one-on-one with the top producers.
And why is it called 911 leadership?
Because it's an emergency, baby. Leadership is an emergency. Can't let that one linger. You have to be a better person. You have to show up, and you have to show up in the quickest way possible. Sometimes we don't have the time to wait in a leadership position. I would love to tell somebody, hey, just wait a minute. Your business is going to grow. Just wait. Just wait. They don't want to come to me for, Towanna, you told me to wait. They want strategy.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know how.
Mm-hmm.
How can I come out of this? What can I do? So it's very important for our leaders to meet. And we meet every other Tuesday. It's not an every week commitment or anything like that. I want to have eyes on them, every other week so we can talk about those pain points that we face in life and have that outlet. A little bit therapy, a little bit, real estate, but a whole
lot
of
it.
It's
all of it. In real estate, we wear all the hats. You know that.
Right. And like I said, I find myself delivering, personally teaching less of the courses, but I do still write them. And it's, to me, I love watching our senior agents deliver the material and teach it very well. So very, very proud of them.
They're watching this, so they're gonna love on y'all, and they say, you must be talking about me.
Why don't you say my name? Why don't you say my name? Y'all know who y'all are.
Yeah, everybody wants individual shout outs, of course. Yeah. Hey, before we wrap now, where can listeners connect with you guys, or even maybe refer an agent to your team?
So we are Team Peterson Jackson. That's the Peterson. I'm the Jackson. And we're Team Peterson Jackson real estate professionals. Now, if you type that in Google, like I said, I've spent a lot of time being able to figure out how to get leads. So you should pull me up within that first page. But if you do not, it is TOWANNA Peterson Jackson. I am on Facebook, and Towanna Peterson Jackson on Instagram.
I am at Team Peterson Jackson on Instagram. I am LaShawn Peterson Jackson on Facebook, and also LaShawn M. Peterson on Facebook, because I ran out of places for my friends.
They're on all the things, all the socials, right? They're very vocal. They show up. I love what you guys are doing. I love the legacy that you've created and that you're continuing to not only just build for yourselves, but you're clearly building it with the team so that they can understand and then take that torch and continue to run with it. Not only just empowering your team, but also empowering them as agents, but then teaching them how to empower their community, empower their future teams, but also empower their family so they can reach the dreams that they're maybe at this point even just dreaming of, and helping to make that dream a reality. So this has been a power-packed conversation with LaShawn and Towanna of the Team Peterson Jackson duo. And if you're building a business with systems, scale, and soul, this episode was your blueprint to how real support systems actually look and feel. And hey, if you're listening, be sure to subscribe, share this episode, and leave a review. And put some comments down here because we want to hear from you. Did you get anything from this? What was your action item that you're taking away from this? Team leaders, we want to hear from you as well. Leave a review if you feel like it helped you think differently about leadership and leverage. Now you can catch this episode and more episodes at leveragewithmike.com or go to YouTube or Spotify or even Apple Podcasts. And until next time, keep using leverage to level up. Let's scale smarter. I'm Mike Collier. This is the Leverage Lounge, and we'll see you next time.